I'm Dane Rose, owner of Mystical Landscapes over the past 31 years, and what I want to do in this video is give you an overview of the home maintenance landscape and a couple of different strategies. Now, as we start offering specialty maintenance, particularly in the fall and winter, to do the more complex areas that 90% of people have trouble getting their gardeners to do. Let's go through some of the areas that relate to home maintenance. So you have gutter cleaning, you have window washing, you have painting, touch-up, you have asphalt repair, you have getting the mail sometimes when you're out of town, you have lawn mowing. That's usually a pretty easy service to get. You know, tending the weeds. A big area that people suffer with is kind of a deteriorating drip system or spray system with irrigation. With the drip system, some of the spaghetti tubing often starts to fall out. Maybe deer will step on it, puncture it, dripper will fall off. And these things can go on for some time. Sometimes things get old. Sometimes the stakes develop, a lot of rust in a way that's a bit dangerous for tetanus, but also that can puncture the liner when stepped on, or puncture the half-inch tubing when stepped on. Spray heads can get bent. A lot of lawn irrigation heads are not in the right place to begin with when they were laid out. There's a mixture of fixed spray nozzles and variable spray nozzles. The variable spray nozzles put out twice the water of the fixed nozzles. And for whatever reason, a lot of this stuff is not attended to and caught by most maintenance contractors or gardeners. And that's normal, right? Anyone can mow a lawn and get a blower, but it takes skill and training to cover all these other areas. Now, my perspective as a homeowner is that it is irritating to have separate conversations with tree guys and painters and asphalt people and carpenters and hedge trimmers and mowers and gardeners and designers. Now, if you're retired and you enjoy those interactions with a wide, it can, in our culture, it's often basically a social life is to, have relationships with, dozens of different specialty contractors. But if you're just trying to get things done, that can be an irritant. Another irritant is the lack of English. Another irritant is you explain something to one person on the crew and then the company sends someone else out and they didn't get the message, right? So there's a tremendous amount of flakiness. There's a continuum of quality. It's always irritating to come back and find that your, nicely natural look shrub has been bald or that wasn't supposed to be cut out. Those are irritants. And another irritant is just communication, right? I mean, how do you get through? A lot of gardeners don't have emails, or trying to type something out. When it's a visual thing, it's easy to be misunderstood. So this is the territory. And what's easy to find, as I say, is mow, blow, and go. You can just tell them not to touch anything with a pruner, and maybe they'll listen. And then you can do that at a second passing yourself. But we are a design and build company, and we generally have done maintenance in the context of all of the maintenance needed to bring our projects up to speed as part of our design work. And usually what I have done at the end of a project, since we have not done maintenance for most of the past 30 years, is make a video for the maintenance person so that, it's a communication bridge. I'm doing some traveling in the winter, and so while maintenance is a little bit overkill meaning our skills are beyond what is necessary for a lot of maintenance, I'm opening this up as to kind of fill a void. Like I've been constantly asked by clients over the decades, to provide competence and skill in areas where their maintenance people are not up to speed. So there's two, and with me traveling, my crew is not quite up to the level where they could manage, a $200,000 project start to finish without supervision. And so, rather than just stop the company when I'm traveling in the winter, what we're doing is opening up some niche and specialty maintenance options, both for the crew and for clients that are hungry for that void to be filled. So I want to talk you through our process and a couple of different strategies that could work for you. There are a lot of gardens in a state of general deterioration. The design is good. They liked how it was the client likes how it was 5 years before, but, certain things haven't been fertilized. The irrigation system has has deteriorated 20%. Paths are filled with weeds, need some refreshed DG. Patio, bits are, some flagstones need to be re-leveled, that type of thing. Now that is something that the crew can do without my supervision. And it is kind of a refresh that you can't get from a typical gardener. So that's one scenario. And in that scenario, as with many of the others, what I do is I walk through, the starting point is I walk through with you and the crew, and I make a video going through the entire garden. I look at everything that I see is wrong. We test the drips, listen for leaks, etc. We look at mulch levels, we look at fertilizer levels, we look at blighting, like are they pointed in the right direction, have the bulbs gone out, etc., etc. We create a complete overview for a refresh. And that then gets published as a private video on YouTube so that both you and the crew have a reference point. Now you can deviate from that, but that's the starting point that you then need to know that they're going to be following that unless you update directions. Now the next thing that is useful if you're not home all the time, and may be useful even if you are, is I set you up with WhatsApp video messages between the crew, yourself and I. And what that means is that if you want to give accountable, detailed instruction to the whole crew, right? Because that's what I do, right? I tell one person, but then they didn't tell the other person, and the other person does something different, and they didn't get the message. When you send a video message to the entire team, everyone's got it, right? And occasionally some detail still gets forgotten, but it's accountable, right? And then that releases you, the client, of any question of, did you say it right or whatever, the crew is accountable to doing what you or I ask for, right? And so that is a useful tool that doesn't exist in many contexts. I find it immensely liberating to be able to make a 30-second video, do this, 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 and this, and the crew gets it, even if no one's on site when I make the video. And there's no possibility of misunderstanding a video. So that's the next kind of wave in our infrastructure. I have a painter on my crew. We do tiling, we fix and build walls, we do lighting, we do irrigation. We do all of this from scratch. And so it's relatively easy to repair. Now, in that initial walkthrough, you get my input, which is normally $175 for a consult. You get my input on why and how certain things should be done, and I'll answer questions that are going to relate to a maintenance refresh or ongoing maintenance. So that's a structure that is, available about 0.5% of the time to clients, and it could be incredibly useful for you in your situation. So a way to look at this project, at our protocol, since we turn away about 30% of our work because we do one job with full attention until complete in the order contracted. But I'm doing some nonprofit work overseas, and so there's going to be at least 3 months in, towards the winter when the crew will be available for specialty maintenance and minor upgrades, right? So that's kind of one kind of way to look at things. Now, if you want us to do ongoing maintenance, I'm going to dedicate one of the crew to do the things that have to be done, the mowing, the stuff that, that has to be done in the summer. And we are not aiming for scale here. We're aiming for quality and taking care of details for, just a few clients. And so, that can be done. And in that way, you have a complete overview of, everything outside your house footprint can be tended to throughout the year. Now, we can also do planting of annuals or, perennials and refreshing of plants in the course of the spring. While I'm abroad, all of that can be set up so the next year, is lush and beautiful. Now, our rates are going to be probably about 20% higher. You can get a decent gardener for, $50 an hour. You can get, half English speaking people you need to supervise, $25, $30 an hour. There's another key thing that we're doing with this that is incredibly important to me as a homeowner, and that is 100% electric, meaning a lot of our install tools are electric and battery operated, but we're doing 100% electric mowers, pruners. Anything that involves maintenance is electric. So what that means is it's quiet. It also, I've had gas fumes drift into the bedroom from, maintenance people in my garden, and it's no fun to breathe fumes. Having all the neighborhood have to listen to mowers and blowers, incredibly irritating. We have very quiet 100% electric tools in the 80-volt system. So our rates are $65 per hour plus material costs. So, there's no gas surcharge. We will deliver gravel and mulch and stuff in our trucks. No charge for that. That's an important aspect of water retention. People are constantly fussing about how many minutes to water, but how thick is your mulch cover? That will reduce 30% of your water. So you get deliveries, you get whatever materials are needed to do the job. 100% electric fleet, and it's all just billed hourly at $65 per hour per person, and the crew is set up. Francisco, my lead foreman, is going to be dealing with you directly after I do the initial video walkthrough. But if they have a question about anything, they'll send me a WhatsApp message abroad, and I'll give them some input. This is going to be probably twice as convenient for certain people with a lot of particular things. It's going to be about 25% more expensive than average. So let's talk strategy here. One approach is that we take you on as a client and come only for the specialty stuff once a year in the winter, and you get a cheaper mow, blow, and go person in the summer. That's one strategy. Another strategy, we do everything. Another strategy would be they're making very good $2,000 or $3,000 robot mowers that are electric, that self-charge. You could do that for the for the mowing type thing, and free up your house. It's kind of nice to be able to enjoy your house without wondering when the maintenance crew are coming over, and a robot that's very quiet, that can operate at night, that's geofenced, can do the mowing and things like that. And so we can also tell you how to do certain of those things, like set you up with a robot mower, get you a good, quiet, electric, battery-operated blower, show you a few tips from the video, and then we come, at the end of the year. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of a sense of our service and how it works. And then what the crew will leave you with every time they visit is a list of all the things that were done. And what you'll tell us is, the full scope that you want us to attend to. Do you want us to attend to, re-graveling the paths when that's necessary? Asphalt sealing has to be done in the summer. We'll do it for some, for some clients, that are doing full service maintenance when it's convenient. But there's the service, and look forward to working with you.